Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome to this week's episode that I'm going to call Copper in Cranberries and Childhood Memories. Because for the kitchen that I'm going to be decorating this week, I used copper items and cranberry items, such as the real cranberries, which we're going to bake with, faux cranberries, and the cranberry color. And we're going to do some things that one might do as a child. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm ready to change things up just a little bit here in the kitchen, so I'm going to change the sconces out before I decorate with the garland and do a little bit more decorating here in the kitchen that you will see later. Last year when I had the small real tree in the dining room, I had some little candle lights. I just didn't like them. They kept going out. So I was determined to find some better ones that would clip on a new faux tree I have. I'm trying to duplicate the look. And I wanted them to be realistic. And I purchased these from Amazon. And so far I am thrilled with them. And I'm glad I bought several boxes. Once I put them on this little tree that I got also on Amazon, but I'm going to link it for anybody who wants to just keep a lookout for it. I think they are so realistic, and these are also on timers. You'll see it a little bit later, but I was thrilled to open those up and try them.
Whoa, oh, oh. La, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, da, da. Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new.
For the price we paid for this tree, you're darn right I took 2 free candy canes. And I put them to good use as decorations in the kitchen.
Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill.
I will show you the tree and room once it's decorated. We are watching our grand puppy this weekend, and glass ornaments would not fare well. 5 months old, and he's bigger than Willow. And yes, we're leaving it undecorated.
This is how it's supposed to be. Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh.
I decided to sit by the fire and try to craft some paper cones, just like I showed you last week in the Tasha Tudor video. I have some silver ones, and then I'm making copper ones for the kitchen garland. But I also found in my packet the template for the quail we did last year with the copper paper. And those are all my trials back there. It was not fun trying to figure out the size and the circumference. So this is pretty much what I came up with. I wish I had a way of putting templates online. I just don't understand how to do that. But this is what they came out like. So I just sat and cut a bunch out and made my paper cones. During this project, I made cones for the little tree in, I'm going to call them pewter or tin, and then I also did copper cones for the kitchen, and I used the same paper to make the cone handles. Well, as you can see, I've set this filming up a little bit different today. I thought that I would set up this way so that you can enjoy the fire, and I'm working on the mantle little by little. I'm going to show you what I did on that a little bit later, unless I already showed you. And I figured this way also I can look out the window. We're expecting a snowstorm, and I was waiting for tonight to film so that I would have this nice cozy vibe for myself. I've got candles lit and the fire going, and hopefully you can hear me well enough over the sound of our oven. It has just a very large whirring fan, so a lot of times when I do voiceovers in the kitchen, it's because that bad boy is very loud. But I figured I would set this up. I'm just gonna bake, and I'll do some talking here and then some voiceover. But what I'm gonna be doing is I'm making a recipe that was sent to me last year by a kindred spirit, and it's called cranberry orange coffee cake. And I'm going to make this up and give it a go probably later tonight as a little treat, or tomorrow morning with my coffee, or both. So I've never made this before. I keep reading the directions because I know a lot of times when there's a lot of ingredients and a lot of steps, I can get a little bit frazzled, for lack of better words right now, but I think we got this, and that's what editing is all about. And you know, I leave a lot of my snafus in here, so I'm not going to edit a lot. But I figured with this angle, you'll be able to see me work around the kitchen, and at one point I might just work along as if you're just watching. Well, you are just watching, but I think you know what I mean. So I'm going to put this on my website, and it sounds delicious. The only thing I haven't done yet is the orange zest, and I'm going to toast some pecans. I usually like to toast them in the oven when it's a large batch, but this is only 3/4 cup, so I'll probably just do it stovetop and heat them up. And the reason for toasting pecans, it makes them more flavorful. They're full of oil, and the oil will just come rise to the top in the skin, and it just makes them tastier. You can taste the difference. All right, so I'm going to just now zest this orange. It's supposed to be for 1 orange. And this is when my zester is still in the dishwasher, because yesterday, talk about jumping around, I could probably just use this actually. I'm going to today. I made a zest of lemon, orange, some cinnamon, and allspice to add to tea. I think we're just going to use this. It's zested orange already. I dried it, but I think this is going to work fine. But if anything, with the allspice and the cinnamon, I think it's going to be delicious. So I will just wing the amount for that and save this orange for something else I have planned. I moved my basket so I could film. All right, so I have that, and now I'm just going to toast these pecans. It's calling for 3/4 cup of chopped pecans, and it always takes up less space when it's chopped. So I'm going to toast these up first, chop them, and then make my 3/4 cup. And I'm not going to put oil in the pan or anything. I just want to heat them up so that that oil is released a little bit. Oh, the wind is kicking up. And I think you can see me over here too. So that was part of the plan. I'm going to move over one just in case. Let's see here. I should have prepped all my utensils, but I didn't. Let's see, get a spoon ready for later, and a spatula. And let's see, what else might I need? My bigger spatula. And I just have a nice here for some chopping of the pecans, and I'm gonna need 3/4 cups. Oh, and another thing it calls for, it calls for a 14-ounce can of whole cranberries. Well, I already have cranberry sauce that I made for Thanksgiving, and I made extra specifically for this recipe. So I'm going to put 14 ounces in a bowl, and I don't need to melt it on the stovetop like it mentions in the recipe, because usually when you take it out of the can, it's all congealed and you want to warm it up. This is all nice and soft already, and there's no corn syrup in here. This is just regular sugar. So let me prep that. I'm going to do that, and then okay, it's zeroed out. I'm just going to start using up this one. I am very discombobulated, and I need a spoon over here again. I may put this on little wheels. I kind of like being able to turn this. All right, just going to give it a good stir. Like I said, this is the homemade sauce. It is on the website. Sometimes I like to add orange in my cranberry sauce, and that would have been fantastic for this recipe also. Shut off. Come on. There we go. Look, I got to do my drawers over. They got a mess during the holidays. So let me go over and just give these a little bit of a stir. And once again, you could do these in the oven, but for this small amount, I'm just going to do it here. They'll be giving off just a little bit of a nutty flavor soon, or nutty scent, and that's all I'm going to be looking for. All right, I'm just going to let these cool for a little bit before I chop them. Preheated the oven to 350. I need to grease and flour a 12-cup tube or bundt pan. Wow, it's amazing that just toasting some pecans on the stove, the smell that it creates here in the kitchen. So I just have a little butter here in a baggie, and I want to do this very well. It says, she has a parentheses, really well. So we're going to do it really well. Some places have a little extra butter, but that will just melt in. So the ingredients we have here, once again, I'll put it in the website. 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon salt is what I'm going to be whisking together first. Just going to incorporate this all together. Oops. All right, so that is whisked. We'll just put that aside for now because I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. And then, let's see, we have the sour cream and the vanilla. Once again, this is the same bottle. This lasts so long. I've been baking with this since last year. And let's see. We're just going to mix this together. And then I'm going to be doing in the mixer butter, sugar, and the orange zest. I already went outside and brought some wood in for the wood stove tonight. It's make it nice and cozy. Now it says just to do it till it's combined. Now it says that I put 1/3 in the bottom of the bundt pan, and then half the cranberry, and then 1/3, half the cranberry, the rest, and then swirl it. Let's fold these in. Just folding it over, just incorporating those pecans. Yum. Okay, so it says 1/3. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. You know, I usually do. I had these skewers out the other day working on a craft project, and I realized that there was a large size and a small size skewer, brand new packs, and I got these at Goodwill for $4 for the pack. I don't even know if that was a good price, but I know I needed them at the time. All right, so I'm just going to swirl this through. "55 to 65 minutes, which makes sense. There is a lot of moisture in here. Okay, Time to clean up and lick these spoons in private. I thought I'd show you some kind of befores because I have a lot more I want to do here. But I ended up taking out all of the fall colored items from the upper cabinets, and I'm going more with the Christmas theme. And one thing I liked was over here with the red and white. I've never displayed red and white before that I can remember, and I really like it. This is what I found recently at, was that Savers, I believe, and I didn't put it all out, and I'm not done here. But I also added a little blue to tie in with the blue and the red here in the Nutcracker. And I brought my teapot out because I really do like making the tea, and this is a French press, so I can even make my coffee in there in the morning, but I like it for tea. It just reminds me of an old colonial pot. And I have a couple of my cookbooks there, but once again, I have more to do. And then on the other side, I think I just took everything out. Oh, but one thing I did add, I have some of my crystal glasses that I did thrift, and that is what I love drinking my eggnog out of, or orange juice. It just makes it a little extra special, so I'm going to be using those pretty much on a daily basis. And I changed out the canisters, and I have my sugar, flour, bread flour. I still need to make tags, so right on the back I just have that this is the bread flour. I tried putting the little gingerbread men on this that I had last year on the other canisters, but this set's a little flat so you can't see it. So I'm gonna have to come up with something. I was thinking of hanging some copper paper or something with a little, I don't know, tree. I haven't figured it out. Or it might just be bows at the top. In this canister, I did put the oranges and lemons that I zested yesterday. And like I said earlier, I'm going to probably make my orange juice with that tomorrow morning. I haven't finished over the window yet. This is the greenery I had on the mantle in the library. I took half of it, and I'll probably add the wreaths and the ribbon that I had last year, but I don't know yet. I'm trying to do things different this year, and this is what I mean by different, especially in the kitchen. I usually do my kitchen tree with the cookie cutters, and it's a different tree. I'll still be bringing in the copper cookie cutters, but I ended up just taking the apples out of the Thanksgiving tree. And I'll be adding a little bit more that's Christmassy. But I also added the garland that I had last year here. And once again, this is not done. But what I did add were some copper cones that I made with paper last night. I just sat and watched TV, and I made these up. I think I have a little clip. And truth be told, I looked up patterns and templates for making cones. I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I went to kindergarten, I should know this, but my cones have little openings on the bottom, like that. You know, ice cream would come out of that, and I didn't want to wrap it around a couple times, but from the front, they're fine. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 here, $1.99 for that sheet of copper paper. This is paper, and it really does look like copper. This is the same paper I used last year to make the partridge ornaments. So I will probably make a few more of the partridge ornaments for the tree. I think I only have maybe 4 or 5, I'll look. And then I will make a couple here, and I'm gonna add more of the gingerbread, not gingerbread, more of the cinnamon ornaments that I've made in the past years. Actually, I can show you. Where's the box of them? Let me just grab something here. I'll just put you down for a minute. Oh, and while you're staring at that wreath across the room, let's walk over there. I had this up last year, but last year I had a gray and white bow on it. This year I'm going to be doing more of the browns and the reds and the golds here in the kitchen. And I still don't know where I'm going to put this sign I thrifted. I'm either going to put it over this set of 3 doors. I could do it over the sink, but that would draw attention to the ugly light I had put up temporarily. I'm thinking of making that light just another ceiling light, flat fixture, and then I'm going to put a chandelier over the center
of this table. So that's kind of the plan. You can see me, hello. Oh, so what was I going to show you? I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So I have my box here of ornaments, and I have it already open because I put some on the wreath. That was one of the reasons I walked over there. I have some star ornaments. But these are the cinnamon ornaments that I made, I don't know how many years ago. They smell so nice and strong still. And the little gingerbread guys, I don't know, oh, here they are. Hello. These are the little gingerbread guys that I had on the canisters last year. They're too small. And I did try some of the larger pieces, and those are just don't look right. I'll figure it out. And I don't know what's in, oh, this must be the partridges. Once again, one-handed, yeah. So here's the paper partridges that we made together last year. And then the inspiration piece, which was from my in-laws' tree. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. I'm gonna make some more so that I can have enough for the tree and the garland. Maybe I'll put some over the window. In the window, I thought it would also be cute to put some vintage kitchen items like I showed in the wreath last video that I made a long time ago for a client. And I did all miniature, small kitchen gadgets, and I only have full size, so I don't know what I'll do. But I thought that would be fun. We won't know until I do it. Both you or me won't know until I do it. So I'm gonna be working on that. And taking a turn here, is this room clean enough for you to see? Not really. So we'll do it kind of at dark. I'm tricky. All right, I can put on a light. So in here, I took the side garlands off. I still have to put some lights in it. And then I'll probably be doing more oranges and apple slices in here and bring more fruit in here. And I'm also going to be doing that in the other rooms. And then I'll frol some. And I don't know, once again, until I edit, I don't know if this is going to show you before or later, but I did work on all of the ornaments. And if I showed you before, here they are hanging. I'm not going to decorate this tree yet until after this Sunday. Where's one of my other favorite ones I'm looking for? Oh, I don't even think I hung them up yet. They're over here. I'm not decorating this tree yet because we are babysitting my stepson's puppy, who is a lot larger than Willow. 5-month-old puppy, larger than Willow. You can figure out the energy, and the two of them playing, I am not going to put any glass ornaments on this tree yet. So what I'm going to be decorating is kind of sparingly for now, that a big long tail and a happy puppy cannot break. If it gets broken, it gets broken. It's like what we said with Shannon's cat. If it gets broken, it gets broken. Now, lighting in here is a challenge. I'm going to have to add more lights. Ladder's all set. All right, I'm going to show you a daytime photo here, but I'm going to walk up right now at night. These are the new tree candle lights that I got, and I really, really like them. This one shouldn't be flickering. I thought I had them all on steady, but maybe he's just showing off. But I have the tree lights here that I ordered on Amazon. I will link these for anybody wondering. Oh, I have 2 that didn't go on. The timer must be off. I added a couple extras after I realized I didn't have enough. I'm backing up. Hopefully I don't trip over. Let's see here. You're going on a tour. Let's see. But then I can't wait to show you what I did with these as well, which I thought was pretty ingenious. Okay, so let me turn these on. Once again, this is another remote, just like the window candles. And I'm going to set this for 6 hours and then a steady light, not flashing. That means you too. There we go. But if I get up close, you can see the tip disappears and turns almost a black, so it looks like a real flame. Your eyes really make you think that it's flickering. Now here in the hallway, I thought this was a fun idea. I was trying to figure out what to do. And I know in the last video I shared about hanging balls outside, because there are already hooks there. I think you can see them. And that flashing that's happening is only because it's being filmed. It doesn't look like that in real life. LEDs. I ended up taping the clear suction cups that came with the window candles, and put them up here. And it looks so cool from outside. Maybe we should go out and take a look at that. I don't think it's snowing yet. Let me take you outside. It is cold. Cold, cold, cold. Oh, it is snowing. Yay. I got greens for under my window, and I still haven't made my wreath yet for the front door. I want to do something different out here. I don't know if I'm going to be hanging greenery. I'm trying to simplify things, but let's see. There they are. I think those are in flicker mode too. Let's see. Yeah, those are flickering. So what do you think? I like them there. I might keep those year round. And I just want to figure out, aging here, what we can do that's easy. Oh, this door just got grabbed by wind. Wait a minute. I need my second hand. It's cold out. Oh, it smells so good inside. I keep talking about the smell. Guys, it smells amazing. All right, so that's pretty much all I've done here so far, but I think that's enough. I've been working on making some homemade items. Oh, that is not all, and I'm going to be doing this over. Let me take a slow turn here. I have one more thing to show you that I was doing for fun last night. I was going to iron them to flatten them out to show you, but for those who got the Christmas box, I was going to include this book. Then I was thinking, well, maybe a lot of you wouldn't want to do paper crafts like this. So I sat down and I just looked at some of the pictures. Let me show you this first. I just looked at some of the photos, and it just shows you what to cut away. Like, this is a wreath. I didn't do this one yet, but I think I will try. I'll leave that open. But these are the ones that I made for fun, and I thought they'd be so cute, maybe put on the window, the big window in the library, or hanging on a garland. I always made snowflakes as a child, and I just love doing that. And this one has hearts. Fun, right? And then I picked up these little tiny scissors when I was Hobby Lobby, that I got these canisters. They were 50% off. They were like $12. I had to. And what else? And the beads, 50% off too. But I got these little scissors specifically for this. I've had this book pretty much since, I'm going to say spring, because this was one of the contenders. I buy a lot of things to consider for the box, and then I put things together and decide what works best. So this one didn't make the cut because I didn't know how many people would want to do paper projects. But if I can find this on Amazon, which I'm sure I can, I will put a link, because it really is. I just sat and played last night, and these are not exactly what the pattern is. I kind of made my own. Okay, this is at 55 minutes, and I have one of my lavender stems. This is one of my favorite suggestions from A Kindred Spirit. I use it as a cake tester. I just want to make sure it comes out clean.
Well, this is all I got to photograph because I had a little sliver at night, and then the next morning, Ben and I each had some with our coffee, and then we went out, ran an errand, and even though this was pushed way back on the counter, a naughty little doodle helped herself to some of the cake.
Birds.
Well, good morning, kindred spirits. Look at the beauty I woke to today. So pretty. Happy girl. I figured after I took Willow outside, we're going to go back inside, finish something in the kitchen, and then I'm going to give you a quick kitchen tour of the copper and cranberry theme that I'm doing in the kitchen, and also adding touches of childhood memories. And this is not complete. I hope to do a final tour in a couple weeks, if not sooner, but I hope to do some shorter videos up until then to show you each room as I work on them.
Now, here's a little hack I want to show you. I wanted to put some bows on either end here of the mantle, but this particular garland, it's hard to tie anything onto it because it's really thick and it protrudes a lot. And I didn't want the bows just to look like they're sitting on the tips. So you can, of course, put a long piece of wire in and push it in and make it stay. Or what I like to do a lot of times is I put on just a skewer, and then I can maneuver it pretty much anywhere I want within the garland, and I can also take it out easily because I'm not tying it onto a piece of the branch. So I like to put the skewer going in the direction from the outside in, and I've done that already on the other side. I thought I would just show you that while I'm putting this in, and I'll probably step back afterwards, but I'm just going to show you how simple. You just push it in and then you can maneuver it. And I'll go back and fix these tails afterwards, but easy, right? Now I'm going to do the exact same concept for a bow that's going to go on a wreath, but I want the bow at the top, so I just have the stick going straight down.
I picked up these skates thrifting last year. My skates were white, but these skates remind me of my childhood, and I always had pom-poms that I'd made on the skate. These happen to have some bells that my mother-in-law had saved. And then I have garland over the window with ribbons and twinkle lights. And then here in the cabinet, I tried to do a Christmas look without really anything Christmas other than the nutcracker. This copper teapot was given to me last year by one of my mother's friends. Unfortunately, it leaks, but I do use it in my decor. And then I have this spode dish that's near the stove so I can look at it while cooking. And then once again over to the garland. This garland created the inspiration of copper and cranberries. In the garland I do have the paper cones that I created, and I tucked in rose hips and some dried items from the garden. I have these cinnamon applesauce ornaments that I've made in the past, dried oranges. Other things from the garden are tucked in here as well, and the copper cookie cutters from my childhood are also tucked in here. Within the tree, I have the natural items from outside. I tucked in wood cranberry beads, brown ribbons. I have some pine cone and items I saved from wreaths last year that were outside, And tucked within here, I also have the copper partridges that we made last year. So it all ties together with copper and cranberries and childhood memories. Here are just a few things that I did this week, and I mentioned earlier about buying some canisters, and I bought them because they had the airtight seal. Now, for this one, I'm going to be putting in my coffee grounds, but one thing I like to do is I add cinnamon to the coffee grounds. Now, I learned this little trick from a caterer I worked at a long time ago, and what it does, it just cuts any bitterness if you have some in your coffee. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just kind of mixing a new batch with an old batch, and we're just going to mix them together. And we happen to drink half and half coffee. Every few mornings, I get out a little container and I fill it with water to water the lemon cypress trees that I have. It's like the rosemary, they like to drink from bottom up. And I just let them sit in here until the water is gone, or at least until it stops drinking. And then I do the next one. I'm going to put this on a little time lapse just so you can see what it does. Now sometimes the water will be completely gone, but in this case it stopped drinking, so that's when I knew it was ready to go back to its pot. Another morning task I did on this day was I put little felt feet on the bottom of the new canisters. When I slide them in and out on the counter, for me the sound is a little annoying, and I decided to put these on. So now when I slide out my coffee or the sugar, the flour, instead of an annoying scratching sound, it's just a nice little whoosh. And you needed that sound effect. You really did. And this is when I went to grab the canister. I put the feet on, and then I noticed I had a little bit of cinnamon I still have to stir up. Took care of that, and then back into the pantry. I'm going to head out and cut some lemongrass for an herbal tea I will be making next week for myself and for Christmas gifts. And this is going to be made with herbs that I've been growing in the garden, and I can't wait to show you what I'm doing. It's in the afternoon. It's still only 28 degrees. But I'm going to go cut the rest of my lemongrass and get a little basket here and use the rest of it in my tea. I'll be coming back out later to cut the sage so I can make a wreath with that, and then I'll be going around the property collecting boxwood, and I'll show you what I'll be doing with that. But here is the remainder of the lemongrass. I do have this little cage around it so that I don't think it's a weed next year. I'm going to harvest this, and we'll use the rest, like I said, for the tea. Here is the lemongrass. I brought it in and cut it, and next week we're going to be making a tea together with herbs from the garden, and I might even purchase
a base herb tea from the health food store just to make it a little bit more robust for gifts, but I'm not sure yet. I might even grab some dried cranberries and dry them even more to put in this tea because I want it to be a holiday tea. And then I'll go from there. Oh, this used to be, I guess, from my chocolate. This is not Ghirardelli lemongrass, I can assure you, but wow, what a concept.
For those who've been following along, do you remember the beautiful little vintage ornaments that my grandmother and my aunt gave me all through my childhood? Well, they had missing pieces, and I was determined this year to fix them. Finally found glass beads and sequins at the craft store, and I sat one day and enjoyed some time fixing them as much as possible. It became very clear very quickly that this craft project was not an easy task. The pins were tiny, the beads were tiny, the sequins were tiny. They kept fumbling out of my fingers. So at this point, these ornaments I appreciate so much more because this must have taken them hours to make each one. I even bought styrofoam balls thinking I'd start a whole new set of them for the tree to give to my grandchildren. I better get started now because it's going to take me forever. One thing I realized while I was working on these is that when I would push in a new pin, it was pushing out a pin on the other side. That's how much space those pins were taking and how many there are. So I had some shorter pins I had to move to, but I think that's why a lot of them were just missing. There was not space and the pins just got pushed out over time, but I'm very pleased with how these came out. You can tell that I doctored them up, but that's okay. And if I ever find the right color beads while I'm out thrifting, I can grab them. But right now, they're a little bit of my aunt, a little bit of my Canadian grandmother, and a little bit of me.